In episode number 212, we cover the latest sequel to Kelli's favorite Disney franchise of all time, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
How do you know that's my favorite of all time? There's also this, Winnie the Pooh thing. Beauty and the Beast.
You are super obsessed with pirates.
Listen, we'll talk about that another time. We also have some news about the Suicide Squad extended cut announcement. It's finally making it here, and they have some pretty interesting things that we can't miss.
Our comic book highlight is one of DC's latest Rebirth titles, Teen Titans Rebirth #1, with Damian Wayne heading the Teen Titans.
All of this and so much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every week, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
And for any new listeners out there, welcome to the Broket family. The way the format goes of the podcast is first we cover some news, once again ranging from comics, going all the way to more, and then we follow up and close out with a comic book highlight of the week.
A segment we started last week and we're building up for the rest of the month is sharing a Halloween story. So last week, Daniel shared with us his wonderful school project video. Do you have any more to share with us this week?
I've got one, but do you have one so I can save it for next week as we lead up to Halloween? Do we switch on over to Kelly?
I didn't really start celebrating Halloween until I was an adult. Because growing up, it was, nope, let's go to church instead. So, I got cool candy and I got to dress up, but I really didn't get to do anything for Halloween.
So, one year, I went as Superman. And I had, the little padded abs and all of that.
Yes, gotta have those.
The next year, I went as Spawn. And it might have been the same year that the movie came out, because I can't think of any other time in which they made a Spawn costume for kids, of all things. And that also had the padded, ab thing. The following year, my Spawn costume had broken, because those things are only made to use 1 year. They're held together by fucking rubber bands and paper clips and shit. Well, I still wanted to go as Spawn. So the mask was still good. So I wore the Spawn mask and then the Superman suit. So I was Spawn Superman.
Super Spawn.
Super Spawn. And everyone that asked, I went up to the houses and they was like, "Oh, it's Super Spawn." I'm like, "Yes, that's exactly what I am. Fucking Super Spawn."
Yeah, whatever. Go with it.
Give me some candy. My costumes are not intact, but I still want to be Spawn, so fuck it. Superman has a cape, close enough. And the S stands for Spawn, not Superman.
You should have, recolored it, taken some permanent markers.
I wasn't that creative.
Oh.
I just put those two together and went as Super Spawn.
Yeah, whatever, it worked.
It's almost as bad as my Aquaman suit with my little marker tattoos.
I love your Aquaman suit. I worked hard on your marker tattoos.
If we go all out and do even that version again, I want to get the tattoos on the back as well, because we only went to the side because of the picture. But I want to get them on the back. I don't even know what the back of Aquaman's tattoos look like. We'll have to pop open that Funko Pop.
Yep.
And kind of look at that, yeah. But
they stop on the side too, we didn't think anybody would open this.
Same with Jason Momoa. You see him in the movie and he just stops right there too. Oh, I guess Dan's was accurate.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
I do also want to touch up on stats for the show. Because we came off of our most downloaded show in all of 2016, or our most downloaded month in all of 2016. And that was with August. And then we went to September, which was our least downloaded month in the last 5 or 6 months. And I'm already a stats hawk. I'm always watching them. I check them out every day. Not as often as I used to, but I still check them every once in a while. Definitely a few times a day. And when I saw that, I'm like, what did we do? What happened?
I told you what it was. You remember?
Because you didn't get to choose the news.
Because you don't let me pick the news. Exactly. I ask you all the time, "Hey, Dan, can I pick the news?" And you're like, "Well, is it related to things we actually talk about?" I'm like, "Well, no, but it's still really cool."
Well, you still got your bad fan fiction that you could always talk about, and you never bring it up. You tweet about it, you tweeted about it once or twice, and then you don't have it prepared. You have access to the notes.
So I can just add to the notes?
Yeah, sure.
Because I used to add to the notes all the time, and you would just delete it and go, ha, ha.
Because it's always jokes. It's never something that you're actually going to talk about on the podcast.
I could talk about lots of things. I could talk about where to get the best groceries, where some good produce is.
Is that comics, movies, TV, video games, or more?
And more. It's more.
we'll see if that gives us a little bit of bump on the stats. It's still not our worst month ever. I don't think we're ever going to get there. But
add some hashtag crazy couponing on the end of this, and I'll talk about using coupons. Target's Cartwheel app, guys. Get on that.
I think hurricanes also fit under more. I mean, we're recording
during a hurricane.
It's
not really a hurricane yet. It's about to be. So, for those of you who have been watching the news or watched the news the past few days, Florida just got hit with Hurricane Matthew. That's what it is. And as we're recording, we're probably less than 5 hours away from, like, this thing just plowing into us. Now, Dan here has never been through a hurricane.
Never been through a hurricane. I moved to Florida, like, 2 or 3 years after the 4 big ones, is whatever all the Floridians
when we had Charlie and Wilma and whoever else.
So to me, I'm like, hurricanes aren't real. Blizzards are where it's at. And most Floridians are like, I've never been in a blizzard, so.
I mean, I've never been in a blizzard.
Blizzard, it's windy, like a hurricane, except it's ice hitting you in your face. And then your roofs may also collapse based on the weight of snow on your house.
Hurricanes pull trees from ground and launches them into your house. They use crabs from the ocean as projectiles and launch them through your windows. Like, anything can become a projectile in a hurricane. I remember when we had those 4 big ones, I was still in high school. The last huge hurricane we had like that was Andrew. And I don't even remember Andrew. It was way down south and I wasn't old enough to remember. So my dad was just talking a little bit about it. And he goes, yeah, like a straw that you drink out of, a hurricane can send it through a piece of plywood. Like, boom, all the way through. Like, anything can become a projectile and just start, like, destroying people. I make it sound like a sentient thing that's just throwing things at people.
So we want to make sure the straw factories in Florida are very well secured.
But, I mean, the biggest thing that you're going to see in this hurricane, and it's definitely going to happen, like, there's no question. Are we going to have something fall on our house? No. Are our windows going to break? Probably not. But we're going to lose power. And, like, most of the state, like, a large portion of the state is going to lose power for a long time. Because it'll just take down lines, and until everything dries, you can't rebuild it. And it rains every day in Florida. So, I remember after the 4 big ones, all of the U.S. just sent all of their, like, electric people to come and help us. Because it was out for, like, 2 or 3 weeks at one point.
That's the term, I think, electric people.
Electric people? Yeah. Electricians, sorry. Listen, I have been at work all day evacuating for this hurricane. And I finally got to come home.
I was at work today, and also, I'm like, I don't know if anyone's going to come in and buy comic books. It's not really a stop for people right before a hurricane. People are getting gas, they're getting water bottles. But no, subscribers came right in, like, yeah, just picking up for last name. I'm like, all right, here you go. Here's your comics.
Good for you guys.
Because it's still their routine, like, to go every Thursday in this case, or Friday, or whenever, and pick up your books.
Well, they're not going tomorrow.
So we're going to try to get this episode uploaded before power goes out. Who knows? I'm going to try to stay up tonight.
It's not, no. There's no way.
I'm at least going to edit, and then I'll upload when the internet comes back.
Okay.
But if the episode is late, Brokettes know it's because of the hurricane.
But I told you what we can do, right? We haven't discussed this?
I don't think so.
So many a moon ago, we're talking about status symbols in Florida now. Many a moon ago, when we had those 4 hurricanes, usually you think of status symbol, you think of a BMW, you think of a fancy house. In Florida, it's a motherfucking generator. If you had a generator back when we had those 4 hurricanes, you were a rich man. Because when they came through, like, we had the first 2. First 2 came through and, like, destroyed the state. And we're like, oh, shit, maybe we need some generators. Sold out in the entire state. And if they weren't sold out, that little $100 generator was now $500. Because they knew somebody was going to buy it. So what does my dad do? Call his brother in Georgia and say, pick me one, I'm on my way up. And he actually followed a hurricane up. So he just drove behind the rain. Because there was nobody on the roads. Drove behind the rain, picked this bitch up, drove it back. And then he does something that's very illegal that the power companies do not like. He figured out how to wire it into the house. So he runs our refrigerator, our freezer, he watches TV. instead of all these extension cords.
I remember your dad telling the story, and he said he was the only person in the neighborhood where the lights were on, and he's just sitting there watching football.
Yeah, he was, because the entire street was out, and then the only way to hook up a generator is you have to run extension cords to plug it in. So you only plug in the essential things, because they're loud as hell. Like, they're not, it's like listening to a really loud lawnmower just going the whole time. So even louder
than a lawnmower.
Yeah, it's louder than a lawnmower, and it just goes the whole time. Like, when you have TV on and stuff, you can ignore it. But it just doesn't stop, and you got to make sure it stays full, and it smells bad, and it's just not a pleasant thing. So they only ran the essential things that you'd need. But Dad, no, hooked it right up into the house, like, screw it, run it all. You couldn't run the air conditioning, because that sucked too much power. And there was something else he couldn't run. Like, Mom couldn't use the oven. But you could blow dry the hair and everything, so Mom was the only lady at work with her hair blow dried, and... It was great. So if our power goes out, we'll just hop next door and use their Wi-Fi, because that'll still be running.
But otherwise, as a warning, Brokettes, this may be the last time you hear us. What? To Hurricane Matthew.
Why do you sound like that guy from Chris Hansen To Catch a Predator? Hurricane Matthew said he wanted to blank my blank.
I like how in my scenario, like I'm like, no, I'm about to die with this hurricane, but let me edit this podcast for 2-3 hours first, and then I'm going to put it up. And
I like how that's how you think. Not like, let me spend time with my wife and dog.
Well, in this scenario, that's not even... Somehow that happens. Like, I somehow get it uploaded and worked on, and then the hurricane decides
and, like, the hurricane rips off the roof, right? And it's, like, pulling you out, but you're holding onto the table, like, sending it, like, for the Brokettes! And as soon as you hit enter, like...
Fade to black in 2016, Daniel and like those letters on the screen.
Daniel got sucked out of the roof. Daniel got sucked out of the roof by a hurricane. The next week, Kelli podcasted about bad fan fiction and coupons. It was our most successful week ever.
In memory of Alan Rickman, David Bowie, and Daniel.
They go in threes.
They go in threes, guys.
We're gonna be fine. Worst comes to worst. Like, something flies through a window and we lose some things.
I've already taken some of the comics and put them up on a table. Some of them I'm like, okay, if I lose them, it's not a huge deal. But all your Harley Quinn books and the new ones, I put up on a table.
What we need to do is put them in a room without a window. Put them up in a room without a window.
Even if it's already up on something? Mm-hmm. So, I guess because of the rain, it can still splash in.
You don't know about sideways rain? How long have you lived here? Sideways rain is a real thing. So,
is that like sideways snow?
I don't know what sideways snow is.
It's frozen rain that goes sideways, horizontal.
Well, our rain, we have this thing called hail.
Which is ice?
Which is ice, and that's worse than...
Okay, so it's kind of like a blizzard.
Snow, yeah. Except it's, like, I don't know. Hurricanes are crazy. I wrote a will, like, man, I remember, this is going back to 2004. All of our windows were boarded up. Like, it was like living in the Batcave. I did homework by candlelight, and I felt so cool.
You were like the little girls in The Wicker Man, which you still have to see.
I still have to see it. There was no hot water, and I remember once, me and Dad are so sweet. This is how well my dad and I get along. There was just a little bit of hot water left, like the smallest amount. And Dad and I were both getting ready. He was going to work, and I was going to school. And I showered in cold water so he could have hot water, and he showered in cold water so I could have hot wawater. So then Mom swooped in and stole that bitch.
Nothing like the relationship between a daughter and her father.
It's true. Love my dad.
If we have a daughter, it's
over, like said, man. It's over. Ugh, forget about it. If we have a little boy in a bucket hat, like if the boy comes out in a bucket hat, forget about it. So anyway, those are my hurricane stories.
So far, we're okay.
Dad, I was just talking to him a little bit ago. He's like, I want to tell Daniel so badly that there's going to be fish in your front yard. And then I was going to go out and buy fish and throw them around your front yard afterwards.
That would have been amazing.
I told him, don't kill the fish for that.
I want him to put a tuna can, though, as well. Like, sometime it must have gone through a grocery store. I don't know.
Picking up stuff, spreading it around. You've heard about, like, dogs getting picked up by, like, tornadoes and shit, right?
I'm sure it happens. That's why I'm worried about our dog, little Ace.
Like, fucking babies when tornadoes go through, because tornadoes can come from hurricanes, too. Tornadoes will pick up babies, like, in their cribs, take them a mile, and just kind of drop them off. And the babies are still fine.
Also, grown men. Jonathan Kent, he got taken up by a tornado in Man of Steel.
That's true.
I saw that happen,
did.
so
Yeah.
I know it happens.
Yeah, it does.
He had a broken leg, otherwise he would have been fine.
You are taking this hurricane too lightly.
And by that I mean, The tornado would not have taken him away if he did not have a broken leg. He would have just like squinted a bit and held his arm up against the wind. That would have been all. The tornado just ignores people with non-broken legs because everyone else was okay. It has nothing to do with the fact that they were underneath the highway.
You don't understand how serious this storm is.
And I also remember Man of Steel way too well.
You do,
And I haven't
clearly.
seen that in like a year.
But all this crazy hurricane stories aside, thank you guys so much for tweeting and reaching out and making sure that we're okay. As you can hear, we're fine while we're recording this. Dan's going to get taken away later. It's already been decided. But realistically, we're far enough inland that everything will be okay. There may be some minor damage to the home, but...
If I do die, there's some Facebook posts that are scheduled, so...
So you'll still feel like he's there for a little while.
Yeah, for probably about a year.
I'll keep it going. His posts will just change from, like, relevant things to, like... read this fan fiction today. Oh, Dan started reading fan fiction. Okay, but I'll read things like about things that you like.
The latest sale at Ulta?
Yeah. Oh man, they got some great sales. They were doing this sale last month where like you got a free thing with your purchase. Missed out on that one. I'm glad you know what Ulta is. That was very impressive.
I'm learning. It's part of being a husband.
You're a great husband.
So on to the actual news. The first bit of Disney stuff, and it's gonna be hard gauging which one you're more excited for. But there is a leaked picture, courtesy of Stitch Kingdom. The Beast's design from Beauty and the Beast has been revealed.
OMG.
We were nervous as fuck.
So nervous.
Because we love the animated movie. It is one of our favorites. It's definitely in my top 10 movies of all time.
Mm-hmm. It's a great movie.
And it is probably my... oh, shit. You know what? Not counting Mask of the Phantasm, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite animated movie of all time. Well done. It's probably better done than Mask of the Phantasm, but because that's Batman, it's just I'm biased towards it.
There's no hope. It's just got to.
So when they were going to translate this into live action, we talked about this a few weeks ago. How are they going to make him look? We speculated, is he going to be like I think we had summarized that it was going to be a hybrid of a buffalo and maybe like a gorilla, kind of a realistic take on him, because that's what they seem to have done with the objects as well. But instead, the Beast sort of looks like what the Ron Perlman show did, but they made him slightly more human-like, but still enough to where you know that this is the Beast from the animated movie. It's less line-like than the Ron Perlman one, and honestly, I think this looks better.
This looks fantastic. You sent it to me, and I went, oh my. Like, held my collar a little bit closer. I still feel like it holds very true to the Beast that we had from the animated. Mm-hmm. It's different, but it still holds very true to that one. And it's still really handsome. Like, it's motherfucking handsome. Like, this is a Beast man. Mm-hmm. And I still want to go on I'm like, yeah, we can go on a date. Where are we going? So that was good because you really want to feel for that character. And I think part of the reason that I think he looks so good also is because I was so attached to the old one. So the whole premise of the old one is the Beast, and Gaston is a handsome man, but of course the Beast is good and Gaston is an evil motherfucker. After watching that so many times, now I look at Gaston and I'm like, you're gross. I'm like, oh, the Beast.
And that's important that the Beast is handsome, because when he turns into the ugly prince, you can remember the message of Beauty and the Beast, and that is inner beauty.
So even when he's an ugly ass prince,
when he's a weird looking prince,
you should still love him.
He has kind eyes. Still has the eyes of the Beast, and that's what she remembers.
I mean, if all of you changed uglier but your eyes, I'd be like,
Have the same reaction she did, in other words?
Yeah, like, oh, is it really you? Oh, it's you. Overall, looks great. I think Disney's trying really hard to take down this picture. And
Succeeding.
I mean, of course, they're Disney. So I'm happy that I got to see them because they're doing a great job. But can I tell you how much more excited I would have been to have seen this for the first time in the theater?
You can't get mad at me for sending that to you.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad
good.
Because I did want to see it. And I did. And again, I'm happy that I saw it because it brings a load off my mind about it. But can you imagine seeing that for the first time? Like, you have no idea what this Beast looks like. You're still so nervous. And then there's all those dark shadows of him moving just like they do in The Thing. And then he steps into the light for the first time, and that's what you see.
The good thing is we have yet to see him in motion. So that'll still be something really cool for us when we do see the first trailer, which is expected very soon. the fact that this promotional art piece came out and people saw it and immediately shared it on the internet and Disney's tried to take it down, that means that Disney is getting ready to put it out. I think we're going to see it right before the holiday season. We are going to get that first trailer.
Mm-hmm. They're probably going to take this podcast down right now. Like, get ready for your lowest views ever. You're going to be like, 0? Why don't we? It's just going to have 1 view. That's going to be it.
All the brokettes that downloaded this episode, they're going to get a letter from Disney saying, take down this episode, delete it from your collection, because they're talking about the Beast design, and we don't want people knowing about it.
They have bigger things to worry about right now, like closing their whole parks because of Hurricane Matthew. That is how serious this shit is. There is no theme park in Orlando open right now. Do you realize that? Not a single one.
I wish I had a bounce house so I can have it open and invite people in. Like the only theme park open in Florida, the bounce house.
Nobody would go.
It doesn't matter. I can say that it's the only. I'd put it on Twitter. I'd make an account, a Facebook page. I'd market it.
You would really get blown away then. It would just pick up your bounce house.
And I'll say never forgotten. October 6th, 2016.
What would be the name
Open one day.
What would be the name of your theme park?
Just the bounce house. It doesn't have to be anything clever.
Then you're going to have to pay like $900 for the stupid bounce house.
I'll get a used one. I'll prepare for next year. Next time there's a hurricane. How often do you guys get hurricanes? Every 9 years, since I haven't seen one in the last 9 years?
We don't get a major one that often. We get a major one every 9 years. We get a little baby one like all the fucking time. Like 3 o'clock every summer day.
Here's where you're going to shine. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men, Tell No Tales. The very first teaser trailer came out, and it looks like they have made some changes from the previous movie.
Find Sparrow for me and relay a message from Capitan Salazar and tell him death would go straight for him. Would you say that to him? Please.
We don't look to have that mermaid anymore, or the preacher guy.
She was cool, though.
They were forgettable.
That was the only part of that movie you liked.
No, I like Barbosa. I like that he was just this weird Commodore thing, but in his heart he was still a pirate, and you can tell. And then at the end of it, he's a motherfucking pirate again. He has the Black Pearl again. He deserves it more than Jack, because he took it from Jack. Jack's dumbass fucking... Just like people argue that Han Solo deserves the Millennium Falcon more than Lando, because he won it in a fucking match, and then you see him in Force Awakens with it. Black Pearl is Barbosa's Millennium Falcon. And that you heard here first.
First and only time ever. So yes, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. We see a brand new villain who is played by Javier Bardem, who seeks revenge against Jack Sparrow.
Javier Bardem, previously seen in No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men.
And then also
he was in James Bond.
The James Bond movie, Skyfall, which was awesome. He was a great villain.
Let the sky fall.
Javier Bardem is going to make
crumble.
a great villain.
We will stand tall. That's all I know of that song.
That was Adele, right?
Yeah. Good job. You're learning. You're learning all the husband things. I'm so proud of you.
Adele, the husband things. Husbands at home, take note.
Put hashtag husband things on this podcast.
Another villain going after Jack Sparrow. Are you kind of tired of this?
No, definitely not.
I'm tired of it.
Definitely not tired. Definitely okay with it. It's cool.
The special effects on these cursed pirates...
They're like bleeding from their mouths. They're zombies.
They're zombies, essentially. What the whole story is, Javier Bardem ended up... Not the character, the actor himself. Ended up in the Devil's Triangle due to Jack Sparrow luring him there or sending him there or whatever, doing his thing. And because he got there...
Can he, like, seduce him there and then, like, leave him and then he turns into a zombie?
Well, this Pirates movie's really taking chances. Best one ever. So he comes out of the Devil's Triangle, and he wants revenge against all pirates, including Jack Sparrow. And guess who's also back in this Pirates movie?
Will Turner's baby.
Yeah, Will Turner's baby. Does anyone care? Barbosa, Captain Barbosa is back.
All right.
Jeffrey Rush.
Will Turner's baby.
Jeffrey Rush, I hope he kills that guy. I hope he becomes the new pirate of everything again.
The pirate of everything.
Hope he kills Javier Bardem with his apples.
He's just gonna throw apples.
He's gonna fucking shove them down his throat.
Is he gonna partner with Hurricane Matthew and they can turn them into projectiles?
They've written hurricanes. They've written tornadoes. I saw that third awful Pirates movie.
All right.
Back to the special effects, I honestly don't think they look good. I think it's weird how Javier Bardem's hair is like floaty.
Yeah,
and
it was so
ghost-like.
weird.
And you can tell that, yeah, the actor's in there, but then they put in CGI on top of it. Mm-hmm. And usually that turns out okay, like the ghosts and Ghostbusters looked really cool. But in this case, it was really odd. I don't know. I think I would have gone for a different design as opposed to like a ghostly hair moving around like they're underwater.
Again, it's a teaser trailer. Maybe it'll change. Maybe there'll be some explanation for it. But overall, yes, I am a big fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. I will not say it's my favorite Disney franchise. They kind of killed it with the fourth movie and the third and half of the second.
Yep.
But the first movie, man, I was obsessed with that. I have seen, all except for the first, I've seen all of them at midnight. I saw the first one in the opening week. I used to have a Jack Sparrow cardboard cutout. I wrote many a Pirates fan fiction.
Oh boy.
So many of them.
Hope you find them and we can share them.
Oh, I have them. They're like over in the bookcase. They're awesome. I will have to I'll pull one out. We can start reading.
Maybe when we're done with the Batman Choose Your Own Adventure, we can start reading some of yours.
I mean, I can write a Pirates Choose Your Own Adventure. So, yes, as much as I don't think it's going to be that great, I am very excited for it. Because this franchise is very nostalgic for me. Getting to see Jack Sparrow out there again and fucking Will Turner's kid. I hope Elizabeth is dead.
It's official. Pirates is now old enough to be nostalgic.
Yep.
Do you feel old yet?
I was in my early teens when I saw that movie.
I remember knowing Johnny Depp. My group of friends, I knew Johnny Depp from Edward Scissorhands at the time. So when he came on, that trailer came on for Pirates, I'm like, oh shit, Johnny Depp's in this. My friends were like, who? Yes, there was a time when people didn't know who Johnny Depp was.
Yep.
The common man did not know who Johnny Depp was. And then when it came out, everyone fucking knew who Johnny Depp was. Everyone was dying to get and see the latest movie that he came out in. Once Upon a Time in Mexico, that trailer had a bunch of Johnny Depp in it too. Mm-hmm. And they were just promoting the shit out of it. It was like a year after Pirates of the Caribbean had come out. I was like, fuck yeah, that movie's going to make money based on him alone. Mm-hmm. That's one of those movies he did just in case Pirates didn't pan out. Because he was just doing a bunch of those movies trying to get huge.
Some money.
And got massive with Pirates. And we talked about in real life, he was prepping for that role of being a pirate. Now we're going to see the product of it. The product of him getting in trouble and beating up his girlfriend. And
yep.
We're going to see exactly where that got him. Also, Orlando Bloom is supposed to return.
Yeah. He's been...
do you care as a Pirates fan?
No, I didn't really like him. I mean, every girl either loved Jack Sparrow or Will Turner. Like, you were one or the other. I hate Elizabeth. I hope she's dead.
She's not coming back in this.
She was a fucking piece of shit. Hated her. Glad she's gone. I mean, Will was okay. All I think of now is Orlando Bloom just paddleboarding around naked with Katy Perry. That's all he's been doing.
In an early interview last year, he said if he does come back to the Pirates franchise, since he is, the new Davy Jones?
Yes.
That he wants to return as like a cursed kind of weird-looking monster, because that's what they
turn into. That doesn't get the ladies,
into.
Orlando Bloom.
Isn't that what he turns into, though, over the years? Because
that's what he did turn into, but that's because he was, like, spooky and evil. Remember when Will Turner became that? They all lost all their things. They all fell off. So,
okay, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Orlando Bloom just wants cool makeup. No, you're not that cool.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I have a hard time saying that. I don't know why. Comes out May 26th, 2017.
That pisses me off, too, because the first 3 movies came out in July on, like, corresponding days. Like, one was the 5th, one was the 6th, one was the 7th. I think it was 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever. And now they're doing May.
They can't take their chance with this franchise anymore.
What's wrong with you guys?
They got to try to breathe new life into it.
Get all out your minds. So continuing on with awesome trailers, through a new trailer from the Pokemon Company, the evolutions to our Pokemon Sun and Moon starters were revealed along with new features for the title.
So the names of these middle evolutions, always the kind of weird-looking ones, but in this case, looks like Dartrix, the evolution of Rowlet, looks amazing.
The one that's trying to seduce you?
The one with the Snape hair?
Yeah, just flipping it around, giving you those bedroom eyes.
Torracat, who's the evolution of Litten.
Just an asshole cat.
Yes, just, I think it looks fine. If I were a fan of Litten, I would be pretty happy with that one, too.
It's an asshole cat, I mean...
And the worst one of the 3 still is Brion, the evolution of Poplio, a.k.a.
Damasio. Listen. Brion isn't that bad, but it's pretty bad.
The internet was mad Because Brion has a dress and long eyelashes.
And
they're saying that they're feminizing the Pokemon too much in a world where Pokemon are both sexes.
Let Brion be who Brion wants to be.
I think people have forgotten about Jinx.
Yes.
Who has boobs.
Yes.
They've forgotten about Machamp, who's clearly a man's body.
Clearly a man.
They've also forgotten Braixen, Delphox. That's the witch fox. I mean, she's wearing a dress as well.
Onyx, clearly a man.
Giant penis. Rocky penis.
Right there. Giant rocky penis.
There's plenty of those. I don't know why people are getting upset at this.
Because it's there now and they need something to be mad about. There's people dying in hurricanes and they're mad about how dumbass Seal looks.
The Pokemon Company also revealed all new areas. This includes the Poke Pelago. This will use your boxed Pokemon and they will find items for you and attract all new teammates to join your box.
Okay, that's pretty cool. It's like the Chow Gardens from Sonic. I used to spend hours in those things.
Me too. I love the Chow. I played that more than the actual game.
Yeah, I was like, here, eat this peacock. Eat the peacock. Because then it would like take on the appearance of the animals. I remember I got a silver one once and I was like, oh, the silver one. But then he like sucked at all the games that I played with him. So I'm like, eh. But this is pretty cool. Essentially what it looks like, I won't quite call it a Chow Garden, but you see little mini versions of the Pokemon on a big old island, and you see them all running around, and you can give them things and send them out to do stuff, and I think I'm going to spend a lot more time here than I'm supposed to in the game, just because it looks that awesome, but I think it's a really neat concept where you don't really feel like you're sending your Pokemon away and they're gone forever.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. It feels like you're actually still caring for your Pokemon even though it's in the box. Because, hell, man, I put a lot of Pokemon in that box and they just sat there and I never looked at them again.
They did something cool in the anime in which you send your Pokemon as Ash to Professor Oak, and then Oak would have to try to take care of them, and it was his adventure.
Cute, yeah.
To the point where he's like, you sent me like 30 fucking Tauros, and they're just running around this fucking field and messing up everything. And then he had to send the Bulbasaur there because Bulbasaur was like the peacekeeper of all the Pokemon. He's like, hey guys, get in fucking line or I will whip you with my Vine Whip. You know, I beat a Charizard in the fucking manga. Like, oh shit, alright Bulbasaur, I'm sorry. So they're now doing that for the video games, and they're getting new items. Sunstones is what they showed off in the trailer. So it's very useful for players.
Do you remember in the old original games when you used to catch a Pokemon and then your box was too full because you didn't switch to the other box and then you couldn't do anything?
No, I completely forgot about that. So it wouldn't just go to the next box?
No, you'd have to change your box to another box. Like, I'm 90% sure you had to do this. Somebody might correct me. But I feel like that happened once when I was a kid. And I'm like, ah! And so after I'd catch like 1 or 2 Pokemon, like I'd switch my box so that it would never happen again. Or I just stopped catching so many Pokemon.
Players have it really good right now.
Yeah, we do.
These games are awesome.
They're just like, which fancy Pelagio Island do you want to send them to? This cool one where they can get these cool things, or this one where they get margaritas?
they were fucking margaritas.
Yeah, they were.
Mega Evolutions are making a return in Sun and Moon, but only for a certain play area, it looks like. Another one of the islands.
That shit.
Probably just Mega Evolution Island.
Lame. Mega Evolution Island.
Whatever they end up calling it. They're probably not going to add any more new ones. So instead, they're going to focus on the Alola forms.
Well, that's fine with me. But we are getting a demo for this soon. Real soon. So the demos for Sun and Moon will drop on October 18th. So about 2 weeks away. I think we can make it, guys.
Make sure to get this... Make sure to get this demo because trainers who get the demo will be able to transfer over a Greninja to the copy of the full game.
This Greninja is special, and that's it. It's just special. You want to know why it's special?
It's got perfect IVs, maybe?
Yeah.
No,
perfect eyesight?
Not perfect eyesight.
It's special in that it can transform into Ash Greninja, as first seen in the Pokemon anime.
Ash Greninja changes into its more powerful form after it knocks out an opponent's Pokemon.
Weird.
Have the odds stacked up against you even more as you go up against this Greninja. Be rewarded for being good at battling by getting an even stronger Pokemon and having your opponent be like, what the fuck, man? How come yours gets stronger? It's not that when it gets down to like 25% HP, which is what I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. When they first did it in the anime... Greninja had to push itself and had to harmonize himself with Ash before it transformed into...
The heartbeats were the same.
But not in this case. You just knock out a fucking Pokemon and you get Ash Greninja. I'm going to use that thing. I love Greninja. Greninja is one of my favorite final evolutions to any of the starters in the recent generations.
I will probably not use it, but I'll still get it and then stick it in a box so it can sip some margaritas and catch me some things.
Are you going to get the Munchlax? That special Munchlax with the pulverizing pancake when it turns into Snorlax?
I will get him, but he better turn into Snorlax fast. And then I'm going to pretend that Snorlax was his only form.
So on to, done with the Pokemon talk.
But I like Pokemon talk.
We're going to move into television with Cartoon Network.
Yeah, so Cartoon Network has announced that one of our favorite shows, Adventure Time, will come to its final season with its 9th in 2018.
We have a quote here from creator Pendleton Ward, who said in a statement, "Adventure Time was a passion project for the people on the crew who poured their heart into the art and stories. We tried to put into every episode something genuine and telling from our lives, and make a show that was personal to us, and that had jokes too. I'm really happy that I connected with an audience for so long. It's a special thing, I think." End quote.
Something that I think Adventure Time did so well that it maybe doesn't always get credit for is it came off as a kid's show. It really did, but there was so much depth and so much character development. I mean, the best example I could ever possibly give is Ice King.
Right.
You look at him in the first few episodes that you watch of him, and you're like, oh, this crazy fucking old man stealing princesses. And then you get into his backstory, and then you have those moments where he has seconds of sanity, and he just says something, and then he's back to being a crazy old man again, and everyone's just like, oh, there's the Ice King, and it's like, but no.
With Adventure Time ending, and it's been out for many years, we've always mentioned Ice King, but I think some of the listeners that don't watch Adventure Time kind of need an example on the depth that this character has. This villain, he goes around and he steals princesses only from the Candy Kingdom. And one of the princesses, the main one, is Princess Bubblegum. Mm-hmm. So he tries to steal them, and he's always real goofy, real creepy, I guess, because he tries to get them to love him. And let them know why he steals princesses in specific. What is his backstory of this crazy man with a golden crown?
So let's start on even further backstory, I guess, than that for listeners who are just learning about Adventure Time. So Adventure Time is this whimsical world with candy people and vampires and, not a lot of humans, And you find out in this whole backstory that this world used to be Earth. There used to be people, and then through the Lich King, who is realistically a nuclear explosion, all this stuff happened. You got crazy people. So Ice King, oh man, I forgot his name. Simon, yes. So Simon, a long time ago, was a scientist, and he came upon this crown that gave him Ice King powers. Well, in addition to giving him Ice King powers, it made him crazy. It would make him say things he didn't mean to, but ultimately it kept him alive in this...
Because he was dying from a disease as well, wasn't he? From that Lich King nuclear bomb is what they're saying.
Yeah, nuclear poisoning, essentially. So it kept him alive, so he kept wearing it. One, to save himself. The rain's begun. I'm sorry, I just heard, I'm like, oh, Matthew's here. So it would save him from, all the things around him. He could defend himself from these crazy things popping up. But at the same time, it kept him alive from this disease that he had. Well, back when he was a human, he had a fiancée. Betty? Betty was her name. Mm-hmm. And he used to call her his princess. And so now that he's a crazy old man, crazy old Superman, Super Iceman, he still remembers brief things from his past. So he's looking for princesses because Betty was his princess.
So subconsciously he's looking for Betty
for
again.
Her. Yes.
And one of the things that he also recalls, and something you learn from his backstory, is that he did say something to Betty that hurt her, and she ended up leaving in his state of craziness from wearing the crown. I don't think we ever found out what he said to Betty, did we?
We never found out, but she actually didn't leave him. Do you remember that episode?
She got taken away?
Yeah, she got taken away or pulled into the future, or something happened. Because in a later episode, they do reunite. And so he takes off his crown, he remembers her, and then realizes that he's dying. And she says, well, you need to wear your crown so you don't die. And then she ended up getting powers that nullify magic. Mm-hmm. So when she's around him, he becomes a regular person and he's dying.
So she can't be around him,
right?
Or else she will kill him,
or they can't ever be together.
That is fucking heavy. I mean, how fucking sad! Like I'm tearing up from this.
Yeah,
this story.
I mean, it's a great story. Like Ice King was one of my favorite characters because they wove him in such a great way that he is this tragic, amazing character, and he's a goofball. And he makes you laugh. And you're just like, oh, Ice King, you and your shenanigans. I mean, another person they throw in there is Marceline, the vampire queen. There's an episode where they interact together. And you're like, what are they doing interacting together? They shouldn't...
Two characters that were never set up to interact. Right. Ice King and Marceline.
And then it turns out when she was very little, she ran into Simon. And he grabbed her hand and because the world was ending. And he took her along on the journey. And as he slowly went into madness, he forgot her too. But she still remembers him.
As he was before, yeah.
He's essentially an old senile man now who doesn't remember her, but she's still there caring for him and hanging out with him and being so gentle with him. And he doesn't remember her, but she still cares.
And I don't think Finn and Jake understand why. They're like, why are you being like that to this creepy old man?
Yeah.
Like they beat him up all the time. And she's like, you guys don't understand. And she won't share that story because it's so personal to her.
Do you remember that song when she found his diary?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Marceline, is it just you and me in the wreckage of the world? That must be so confusing for a little girl. And I know you're going to need me here with you. But I'm losing myself and I'm afraid you're going to lose me too.
Oh yeah, keep it going.
This magic keeps me alive, but it's making me crazy. And I need to save you. But who's going to save me? Please forgive me for whatever I do when I don't remember you.
Wow, I wrote that. Hot stuff.
What? You don't remember what it means?
We'll have to watch that episode after the podcast.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. Anyway, that's what this show is. And there's many more examples of that. Remember the episode with that one weird guy in space and Finn and Jake went up there and the cosmic owl and...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good ones.
that one was good. LSP is a great character. Lumpy Space Princess. Oh.
So first debuting in 2007, Adventure Time has also led success in the comic book world through Boom Studios with 2 current ongoing and several previous miniseries, as well as one-shots.
And we've picked them all up.
Yeah, we have. We did eventually drop out of the ongoing Adventure Time after they had a new creative team, and they haven't changed it yet, but we gave them a shot, and it just wasn't to our liking. But the new miniseries, Adventure Time Comics, is awesome. It's more of what we're looking for. It's made up of 3 mini stories in each issue, and they each wrap up in each issue as well, which I really enjoy. They each have different artwork and different versions of the characters, different styles, and I really like that, especially for someone who enjoys the art so much. So hopefully it continues for a little while in its comic form, even after the season ends in 2 years.
So speaking of Boom Studios, Valiant, and more have announced an exclusive partnership with Comixology.
These will be a small line of, quote, Comixology originals that will be exclusive to the online distributor.
So we do have a quote here from David Steinberg, the Comixology co-founder and CEO, who says, "Our mission is to make everyone on the face of the planet a comic fan, and with Comixology's original, we're excited to offer a range of content by diverse creators."
Comixology, you can make your mission to get comics to everyone everywhere simply with you existing. You don't have to get fucking exclusive contracts and exclusive issues and one-shots to get that out there. So this has nothing to do with you trying to get comics to everyone, because that's kind of your whole point. For people that don't have a comic shop near you, they can go online and they can buy the books digitally, and that's fine. But to say that this is just because you're trying to get readers to read comics, no one's looking at this and saying, oh, there's an original art. People that don't know comics don't think that, and they don't say that. So this is not a good quote and not a good PR statement.
No, it's not. What happened was they said, oh, let's spend some money and try and get more people on our site because now they can only get these things here. And that sucks because we really like to have something in our hand. We like to see something on the bookshelf, and this eliminates the chance of that for some pretty good books.
These debut titles are Adventure Time Marshall Lee Spectacular from Boom, Valiant High, which is from Valiant, and Harvey Kurtzman's Marley's Ghost from Kitchen Lind and Associates.
Comixology has previously experimented with digital-only exclusive comic books early in their life, with titles Box 13 and The Pandora Project by David Gallagher and Steve Ellis. Those titles were later published in print by outside publishers.
Neither Comixology nor the publishers involved with Comixology Originals have revealed if these, quote, exclusive comic books would ever be printed. That gives me hope with the past. They're saying that with these other books that were previously exclusive, they eventually brought them to print, whether it's a trade paperback or a single issue. I did tweet out to Boom Studios and I asked them, so will the Marshall Lee Spectacular ever be spectacularly printed in physical format, you know, for your readers that have supported you as they buy their physical issues, or the subscribers that have bought your book, or the brick and mortar stores out there that have carried your comics. How about them? Are they going to be able to get this exclusive? I mean, what's going on? Of course they ignored it.
Of course they did.
And they've ignored all the other tweets as well that people have been sending them, like, maybe I don't want to own this digitally. Maybe I want to get it physically. So eventually, they probably have like a 2-year contract that says, hey, you can get it at Comixology only for the next 2 years, and then that ends, and we'll be able to print it out in some kind of special format. So I'll wait for that. I'm not going to support Comixology by buying a digital book. I'm always physical. I like having a book. It's more collectible. It retains its value more than a digital book would. And right now, like with Hurricane Matthew, oh shit, let me go to my Comixology thing. You know, I forgot to fucking download the latest book. It's not in my memory. I can't read it. Whereas this week's books, I'm like, oh, they're on the table right now. I can go over there and pick up the book and read it. My power goes out, internet goes out. I'll just read the fucking comic that's physically in my hand and not worry about that I download it to my device.
We'll wait and see. Hopefully this does not become a trend.
So continuing on the world of comics, Batwoman will be getting her ongoing title again in February 2017.
That's amazing. I think this is a strong testament to Detective Comics. Is that what she's in?
Yeah.
The amazing way that they've handled her there. So, this will be written by Margaret Bennett, who's done DC Comics Bombshells, and James Tynion IV, who's done Detective Comics. And the artist will be Steve Epting, who's done Brewbakers.
Brewbakers, the famous Brewbaker.
What's Brewbaker's Captain America?
He's the author. Brewbaker.
Who's Brewbaker?
Brewbaker did the Winter
Captain
Soldier.
America.
Did the Winter Soldier series, which was phenomenal.
Okay.
One of the best runs of Captain America ever was Brewbaker's. And that's why even in the trade paperback, it'll say Brewbaker's, Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Does he cook with beer? Is that why he's a Brewbaker?
It's not that kind of brew.
That's the kind of Brewbaker I want to be.
But Steve Epting is amazing. His artwork on Cap was phenomenal. In that Winter Soldier, everything with Brewbaker's run. And he actually hasn't done any DC books for the last 15 years due to his exclusivity with Marvel. More of DC getting these exclusive contracts with these big-name artists. If anything, Batwoman will be a gorgeous fucking book.
So we do have a quote from him. He says, I am very excited for the opportunity to work on Batwoman. I love the character design and how she fits into the whole Batman mythos, and I'm looking forward to the artistic opportunities the story will provide.
I think we'll see by February if we enjoy the Batwoman character much more in Detective Comics. I read some of the stuff by J.H. Williams, and it was good, but not enough to where I wanted to subscribe to the ongoing. But she has been handled so well in Detective, especially under the team, being one of the team leaders in Batman's little army. And I think that's great. And just giving her the power over Robin and Spoiler and Clayface, it's just made her into such a fleshed out character, especially in this first arc. So by then, maybe we'll give the Rebirth title a shot. We'll see. And if anything, you do know that Detective Comics is so far the best Batman book out there.
I think we can both agree that DC has made all the right moves with this new Rebirth. They've released some great books, and they're actually making another great move with this next piece of news. For the upcoming Justice League vs. Suicide Squad mini-series event, DC Comics has told retailers that it was dropping its issue price from $4.99 to $3.99 per issue.
So this special miniseries, which still takes place in the Rebirth universe, but is being solicited as a separate miniseries, because it will be Justice League vs. Suicide Squad #1, kind of like All-Star Batman #1 is going on right now, was originally going to be $4.99, which is a pretty hefty price. Bringing it down to $3.99 still does not match that $2.99, so to that I'd say, you know, be very careful, DC, with touting the $2.99 price point if you're going to have books at a higher price than that. The only thing saving it, and I've been reading the comments from a lot of collectors on Newsarama and Facebook, is people are saying, it's good that you dropped it, but you also kept the page count the same. It's still 40 pages of content for the lower price, which is what they were originally charging $4.99 for. So while they did bring down the price, they kept the pages the same, so you're going to get extra pages for that extra $1, more so than what you would normally get out of a $3.99, say, Marvel comic or an indie book.
The thing about this, too, is because of what it is, they're going to be able to sell it for $3.99, and they know that, and they could have sold it for $4.99.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why All-Star Batman, putting fucking Scott Snyder's name on there and all this all-star artists, yeah, you can get away with charging $3.99, $4.99 per book.
Exactly. And so I'm appreciative that they dropped it down $1 because, hey, that helps everybody out. But they could have sold it at $4.99.
This miniseries will be sold separately from the Justice League and Suicide Squad ongoings. Those are going to tie into it, but if you want to read the main series, you just have to get the miniseries. You don't have to get the tie-ins. And it is set to release at the end of the year, December 21st.
Oof, right in time for the holidays.
If you do want Justice League versus Suicide Squad, you do have to sign up for it separately. Again, it is going to be essentially its own title.
So moving from comics onto the big screen, Zack Snyder recently tweeted. I was going to say recently twittered, but then you don't Twitter, you tweeted. I'm really bad at this Twitter thing. So Zack Snyder recently tweeted a picture of himself wearing Batman's gauntlet while going over some storyboard drawings.
The tweet reads, #Justice League, #cosplay.
Well, shit, if I had Batman's gauntlets, I'd be wearing them all the time. Like, hey guys, here for work. Kelli, we need those back so he can just make him some new ones.
It's Batman, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Fans were very quick to enhance the storyboards on Zack's tablet and have found what appears to be a man...
A man.
With an eye patch.
An eye patch.
And a sword talking to a bald character as they sit at a desk.
Barbossa? It's a pirate.
So who is this one-eyed character with a sword?
A pirate.
It's not a pirate.
Jack Sparrow. He
Not
loses
Jack.
his eyeball.
No, they're not WB is not teaming up with Disney.
They should. Do it. Fine, it's probably Slade Wilson.
That's right, it looks to be Deathstroke. So we are going to see Deathstroke in Justice League and in Batman.
You know what I would do if I were Snyder? I'd really put a pirate in there and be like, ah, fooled you all. It's really a pirate.
How do you think Deathstroke is going to fit in to Justice League?
Hell, I don't even know. They'll put him in there somehow.
Do you think it's just going to be a little cameo? Is it just going to be an Easter egg? Is it going to be a lead-in to Batman?
For me, I think the easiest thing would be to have him in there as a cameo. But again, I don't know what goes on in Snyder's mind. He's done amazing work already. We've seen that in the comics. And
yeah, he's done comics.
Oh, stop. Wait, which one is he? Don't make fun of me.
Scott Snyder does that all the time, too. He gets mad because he's like, I know there's new Batman v Superman news, and this was back before that movie released. When I get a bunch of tweets directed at me about BVS, it's Zack Snyder, and then there's Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder's in the comics, Zack Snyder's in the movies.
But wasn't the other Snyder going to the other one?
You're thinking of Jeff Johns.
Listen, I work very hard in my life so that you can have nice things. And I would appreciate it if you wouldn't make fun of me when I get names wrong. We all know that I have difficulty with names.
That we do.
Can I tell you, I had a coworker come up to me the other day, like he doesn't work there anymore, and he came up and he's like, hey, and I'm like, oh, hi, nice to see you. And he's like, what's my name? And I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I don't remember. I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, fair enough. I am terrible with names.
I'm the worst. I'm sure I'm worse at names.
Definitely not, because you know which Snyder's in places. Anyway, Snyder's done a good job, and he will continue to do good. Both Snyders have done great jobs, and they will both continue to do good jobs.
And Jeff Johns.
And Jeff Johns. And Ben Affleck.
So we will get to see Slade Wilson on the big screen with Justice League's November 17, 2017 release.
You're going to make me say this name again, and I still can't say it. Moving on to Batman movie news, instead of Justice League movie news. In an interview with USA Today, Affleck... I can't say his name. It sounds so weird.
It's like how I can't say Dead Men Tell No Tales. I get tail and tell.
Dead Men Tell No Tales?
Dead Men Tell No Tales. I can't, it's weird. I don't know. Like, I say man. Dead man tell no tales. Tale no tales.
Dead men tell no tales. Whatever. Affleck revealed the possible title to the solo Batman film.
Quote, the movie, I think, is going to be called The Batman. That's what we're going with now, Affleck explained before admitting the title could change.
Of course they're not going to... Affleck, just stop making things up. Can I just call him Ben? Ben, stop making things up. Just Stop. You're like, I don't know. We just call it the Batman right now. Like, yeah, you're making a Batman film. You call it the Batman movie.
No release date has been given for The Batman.
It's not going to be called the Batman.
Maybe it is. They can call it whatever the fuck they want. I'm still going to be there day one.
They call it, like, fucking Batman, goddammit?
Sure. It doesn't matter. I don't care what they call it.
Okay,
I really don't.
I'm saying it's not going to be called the Batman.
Just like when people were upset with Batman v Superman. It's a little V. Who gives a shit? We're going to see it. No one cares.
Just the way he said that. The movie, I think, it's going to be called the Batman. That's what we're going with now. Like, that's what it feels like to me that he's saying.
Maybe he's testing it. Like, go out there and say that this is what it's called, and if they make fun of you, we'll say, no, that's not the real title. And we'll just blame it on you. It's just actors being... Isn't he the director?
Silly.
Actors. So similar to the Batman v Superman home video release, Warner Brothers has announced an extended cut for Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. So the extra scenes are expected to come from Ayer's original full cut, including more interactions between Dr. Harleen Quinzel and the Joker.
I think they missed an opportunity here to get super cheesy and call it the Joker extended cut.
Whoa!
Much crazier and more violent. Ooh.
No, they should have called it Suicide Squad, The Joke's on You extended cut.
To shit on audiences.
Brilliant.
Joke's on you.
Brilliant.
So Suicide Squad Extended Cut will release digitally on November 15th and on Blu-ray physical December 13th.
You motherfuckers.
So I guess we're getting it December 13th. That's the actual release date. Okay, I'm sorry. Brocats, Suicide Squad Extended Cut will release on December 13th.
Okay. All right. I'm sure some people will leak it out and charge money on November 15th.
Yeah, like some people are advertising it too.
Yeah,
which is really weird. And like, I don't think you should do that. You're going to get in trouble. Amazon, you're going to get in trouble.
In trouble. That's stupid. Just release it all at once and call it a day.
Get it at your local Best Buy on December 13th. Get it at your local mom and pop digital Blu-ray super extended whatever.
Don't go to Best Buy. I hate them. Go to Target. I like Target.
You can get it at Target.
Use your Target Red card. Save 5%.
But because this is Warner Brothers,
yes,
and because this is DC Comics,
yes,
we have angry DC comments.
Does this bring us to this week's Nerd Rage Reaction? That's my job. I was trying to console my poor dog who wanted to know why I was screaming at her.
Mine sounded like dubstep.
No, you gotta go. Wait, no. Now I can't do it now. No, it sounds like a weird fart. So. Now I sound like Hurricane Matthew. Just open up the window. We'll have that.
That's a sound effect. So this Nerd Rage reaction first, for any new listeners out there, it is a comment that we find on the internet, either in the YouTube comments, on Facebook, or right underneath the article, where they say something senseless and funny, and we're not going to reveal who the person is or where you can find them, but we're going to read off the comment exactly as it reads. Sometimes we have to correct for misspellings, but you will get the idea.
This reaction is... I have to prepare my voice.
Your whiny voice?
Oh. Okay. You can't build a cinematic universe this way. You can't make multiple versions of a film. Otherwise, what counts? What's canon? You can't put a film in theaters and then require the audience to buy the second version of DVD. They're buying DVDs. So that they will have all the information needed for the next installment of the universe. It's not a workable way to tell an ongoing story. And WB needs to stop these reactionary movies.
Nerd Rager, is this still going to make money?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Did canon get ruined with the Batman v Superman extended cut?
I hated that movie, yes.
And will you be there to see Justice League and Suicide Squad 2 whenever that releases?
Only because my friends want to go see it.
Then it officially doesn't matter. It officially does not matter. None of it matters.
I like how they think the extended scenes will change the outcome of the movie so that you can see the second one.
Alternate ending.
I didn't know that there was an alternate ending in this. I thought there were just more Joker and Harley scenes.
Well, isn't that what extended cut? No. It's alternate. The alternate cut. That's what they mean by extended cut.
The alternate movie. They just refilmed the whole thing.
change the canon of it. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, people. I, for one, am so excited to see more Harley Joker scenes. I think it will change the way we view their relationship. And I feel like they handled it well the first time. I think they can still handle it, pulling it back into that darker place that it is in the comic books.
You had mentioned that you like that they didn't show the scenes in which the Joker was beating up Harleen Quinzel. Isn't that going to change the dynamic of the relationship now if you see the extended cut?
I think it is a little bit. Like I said, it's going to pull it back into that darker place. But at the same time, as a fan, I'm excited to see that. And I think people who watch the movies and really enjoyed those characters and their dynamic, and maybe they went out and picked up comics and actually read about them, their origins, picked up Mad Love and saw that that's what they were, I think that they'll appreciate this more. Maybe. I hope so.
And to answer the person, to be serious, the canon, Nerd Rager, is the theatrical cut. Mm-hmm. That's the fucking canon. That's it.
Done.
Extended cut is extra material that was not meant for the final version of the film. If that really matters to you, that's the fucking canon.
You're going to pick it up and you're going to have two little buttons you can click. Theatrical version or extended cut. And if you don't want to see the extended cut, then don't ever watch it.
Non-canon version. There you go.
Yes,
that's the non-canon version, and then this is the canon version.
We'll have the real movie and the bullshit version. That's
just for you, Nerd Rager. Just for you.
Just for you.
We've got 2 more bits for the podcast before we wrap up for the week. We've got Batman Choose Your Own Adventure, and then this week's comic book highlight. But first, we're going to go through our Patreon shout-outs of the week.
This week we have 2. The first goes to Christopher, who on Twitter is at The Irish on Fire. And the second is Bobby, who is at Cuban Slim. Cuban Slim. Cuban Slim.
First Affleck, then...
Sorry,
Cuban.
I am so bad with names today.
Scott Snyder's making movies.
One of them
Zack Snyder's making comics.
Yeah, good for them. They decided to switch it up a little bit. Listen. I go and work hard. I was taking phone calls all morning. I was on my way to work making phone calls, hearing, do I have to come to work today? Yes. Have I told you you don't have to? Be here. Click. And then later I had to call and be like, no, you don't have to come to work today. Click.
You were like Jameson this morning.
Yeah, I was. Man, I was driving to work and my phone's like buzz, 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 buzz with all these emails of people asking if they got to be here. And then I'm calling them and they're like, well, are you going to work? I'm like, yeah, I can't fucking not show up to work. What are you talking about?
Daniel's on line 1. Pick up, hang up.
That's what I felt like. And then I'm sitting in the office on a conference call today. A conference call with my GM. And then, the other phone's ringing. And then, my assistant managers, I guess is the easiest way to call them, are just sitting in the office with their thumbs up their asses. And I went and I threw the phone at them. I'm like, answer that. And then I went back to my conference call.
You're super Jameson.
So, listen, I'm tired. It's the moral of my story. So, Cuban Slim, I apologize. But it's spelled with a Q.
Thank you so much for your Patreon backing. Make sure to follow them on Twitter, again, at The Irish on Fire and at Cuban Slim. If you want your shout out every single month, you can go ahead and back us for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/thereasonsimBroke as we work to reach our next goal, which will give our website a full redesign, including a full commerce portion. And I've also worked on 3 additional t-shirt designs.
Oh, they're so cool.
For the listeners out there to be available on the website once that launches. So I have started to work on the background stuff in case we ever do reach that goal. And I did have one printed already from Lazy Nerds Designs. I got the physical t-shirt. It looks great. It printed out really well. So I know that's good to go for once the site goes. And then I'm slowly going to... I have the other 2 designs already done, but I have to get those printed up and I have to pay for the setup on the actual t-shirt template, I guess it is. I don't make the t-shirts. I don't know what it's called, but I have to pay to get that done and then have one printed and make sure everything comes out with the right measurements. So all of that is being prepared as we work for the final goal. And the third goal, once we reach that, then we can have that website design. And we do want to thank DecalAvenue.com as well for their help at the $5 tier as Brokettes get their decals every 3 months after backing us for that long.
But of course, guys, our podcast will always be free. The best thing you can do for us is leave us a review, leave us a comment, talk to us on Twitter, let other people know about us. We do this podcast for you all to share what we love and to hear from you and interact with all of you.
The iTunes reviews really help us out, Brokettes. So if you can take 2 minutes, if you haven't yet, leave us a review on iTunes. It does help other Brokettes find us, and hopefully we won't end up with another month like last one.
Or if you guys, go to Taco Bell or McDonald's and need to do a survey, just throw in there, reasons I'm broke is pretty cool. Just add that in there. Like, my taco was great, and the reasons I'm broke.
or if you have some kind of, maybe where you work, they let you put up little business cards. I know at Jimmy John's, like, they have the little things, although now they're community boards.
Why were you nailing that in? Instead
it has to be permanent. That was my gesture, was nailing in the business cards.
Yeah, like a little hammer, and I was just so confused, because you just use a thumbtack, and you call it a day.
Yeah, let us know, and we could always send you some business cards to put up. All right, so now we've got Batman Choose Your Own Adventure.
Choose your own adventure.
Something we didn't do last week is summarize what was going on. So people just heard this next part of the story, and I do want to summarize just real quickly what is happening. So this segment is called You Choose Batman, Choose Your Own Adventure Batman, where listeners get to guide Batman every single week through this story, which is called The Lazarus Plan. Features Ra's al Ghul, Batman, Catwoman, Robin, Alfred, everyone. So what happened in the last 2 episodes, and you can go back and listen, but Batman and crew went into it looks like a museum debut, or at least they were debuting this new item, and the ISIS item. I forgot, isn't that what they called
ISIS, yeah, it was ISIS.
And he followed a mysterious woman with dark hair, and it covered half her face, and we know it's Talia al Ghul. And as he followed her over there, it looks like she had taken the item. And then in the other room, in the hall, they had heard a crash, and then the Gotham citizens screaming. And Brokettes, they chose for Batman to save Gotham. So let Talia get away and go back to Catwoman, Alfred, Dick Grayson.
Good.
And Barbara Gordon, she was there too.
Yes.
So we're going to continue Choose Your Own Batman.
Bruce rushes out into the main hall. The screams are coming from the Temple of Isis, he thinks. Suddenly, a dark figure slinking in the South American wing catches Bruce's eye. Why is it specifically the South American wing? What is this book doing? The billionaire enters the dimly lit gallery instead. The room appears to be empty, except for the 3 rows of glass display cases. They contain Daniel's cool things that he's collected over the years. They contain figurines and pottery made of stone and clay. Bruce races towards the noise and nearly collides with a speeding shadow. The billionaire catches the mystery person in a vice-like hold.
Me, ouch!
Cries the familiar voice.
Ease up on the kung fu grip. Selina!
Bruce exclaims in shock.
What are you doing here? Do you know who else has an annoying habit of jumping out of nowhere? Selina asks, rubbing her wrist. The big bad Batman. You two are a lot alike now that I think of it. Up to your old tricks, Bruce asks, changing the subject. What did you steal this time? He points to a little stone statue in her hand. Relax, moneybags, Selina snaps back. This isn't a robbery. It's a hit and run. I beg your pardon, asks Bruce. At that moment, a hulking brute emerges from the shadows, rubbing his bald head. He's wearing a tight vest and baggy harem pants. I don't remember him wearing a tight vest in the cartoon, but all right.
He did. He had that little tiny vest.
It was tiny. I don't remember it being tight, though.
Tight and tiny.
Bruce recognizes the man. It's Ubu, the dangerous and deadly servant of Ra's al Ghul. That guy was trying to steal this statue, Selina explains, so I hit him on the head with a heavy pot and ran.
Ubu trudges forward, staring down Bruce with a fierce look. So we meet again, infidel, Ubu sneers. I hope it will be for the last time. The bulky bodyguard has a personal grudge against the golden boy of Gotham City. There was a time when Ra's wanted Ubu as his successor to lead the Society of Shadows. Then Ra's met Batman and changed his mind.
Why do they call it Society of Shadows? I remember in the cartoon, I think they even referred to it as League of Shadows, didn't they?
League of Shadows, League of Assassins,
League of Assassins was in the... Hold on a sec. Now I'm getting confused. In the Nolan universe, it was... Oh, that's what it was. It was League of Assassins in the Batman the Animated Series. It was League of Shadows in the Nolan verse. and then which both exist in the comics now, but
you can't put assassins in a kid's book.
I think that's what it is for the book. They don't. Let's call it League of Assassins. So go ahead and read that.
Okay. There was a time when Roz wanted Ubu as his successor to the league to lead the League of Assassins. Then Roz.
Yeah, I know you're trying to bug me by pronouncing it wrong.
And is it bugging you?
No, just go ahead.
Yes, it is. Good.
I mean, if you want to sound wrong, that's fine. You can sound wrong.
I'm glad it's bothering you. Then Roz of Hearts met Batman and changed his mind.
By the way, you called the Kingdom of Hearts
I don't know what you're talking about.
You just brought this up. I wasn't going to bring this up, and you brought this upon yourself.
Do you like dinner?
You brought this upon yourself.
Did I not cook you a nice dinner?
So that's on the record.
Did I not cook you a nice dinner
this
today?
Weekend last week?
Yeah, I cooked you a nice dinner this weekend last week. And I will continue cooking nice dinners. But you have to stop bringing this stuff up and calling it by wrong names.
I will bring it up every time you say it, Roz.
You started this. You brought this upon yourself. Just like Star Fox. That's the character's name, not the team's name. Just throwing that out there. Ubu lifts a large stone relic off a pedestal and crumbles it with his bare hands. Well, shit.
Jesus Christ. I don't remember him being that fucking strong in the cartoon.
He sprinkles the dust on the floor and points to Bruce. This is what I'm going to do to you, Ubu snarls. Selena gasps. Bruce needs to act fast.
Here's your choice for next week,
Choice for next week.
This is where the Choose Your Own Adventure ends for now. Choice number 1.
Bruce fights Ubu.
Choice number 2.
He and Selena run off into the night and get married.
It's not what it says. What is it really?
He and Selena run.
Okay.
Off into the night and get married.
So choice number 1, Bruce fights Ubu. Choice number 2, Bruce and Selena run.
Off into the night and get married.
That's a tough choice. I don't know what I'd pick there.
I would pick They Run Away, just because I want to see them together more.
I don't know, because Batman can take on Ubu. He's taken him on before. Remember that's strike 3. And then he crumbles his little fist in his own...
Okay, but Ubu just crushed a stone statue in front of him.
You're right. Maybe he's taking venom serum. What if that was the case? Like he was actually taking serum.
That's awesome.
So, let us know, Brookettes. Choice number 1. Choice number 2. Tweet at us at Reasons I'm Broke. Or you can let us know through a comment at facebook.com/thereasonsimbroke. You only have a couple days to let us know, of course, because by the time the episode comes out...
we'll be blown away by Matthew, so,
so I
screw it.
You'll never know how it ends.
You'll just have to go buy it yourself.
But it's much more fun if they hear it here.
Of course it is, because I get to read it the real way. Why on the cover is Nightwing peeking in like, what's going on here, guys?
Because he wants to be a part of the plan.
And why is Ray shirtless looking back at Batman like, finally.
Because he always
Welcome
does
to
that.
my hot tub.
Did you ever read the Elseworld story where Batman and Raish both go into the Lazarus pit?
No.
In that one, they're both old. And Raish tells him, "Finally, detective, the pit will heal he who is most worthy, and the other one will die." And they're fighting, and Bruce finally says, "Okay, Raish.
All right.
Let's stay and find out." And as they're both going down, Raish panics, and he's like, "No, no!" And Bruce drags him back in. He's like, "No, let's end this." And the Lazarus pit heals Bruce, and Raish dies in the pit instead. And he comes out a younger Batman, and he can continue to be Batman for another 50 years. I gotta find the title of that again, but...
That's how it would end.
Not the most fitting end to Raish. I love Raish, but still an ending. There's one out there. So our comic book highlight this week is Teen Titans Rebirth #1. This is written by Ben Percy, with art by John Boy Mayers, and colors by Jim Charalampidis.
Who?
Charalampidis.
Charlampidis.
So you gotta give him a colorist name.
Just Charlampidis.
Charlampidis.
Yes. Hello, I am Charlampidis. I colored this.
So what happens when Damian Wayne tries to lead the Teen Titans?
Amazing things. I was so happy with this book.
I heard from some readers that were like, Damian's such an asshole. Why does he have to do that to the Titans? I'm like, have you ever read a Damian anything? He's always an asshole.
Do you know who Damian is?
He's the offspring of Talia and Batman. He was raised to kill. He was raised in the League of Assassins. He is a dick. He has previously proven to the other Robins, the previous ones, that he is the best one. through the Batman and Robin New 52 series, in which he went through and took something from every single Robin and fought every single one.
Yeah.
Just to prove that he's the best at it. He's like, I'm 10 years old and you guys are fucking terrible. He made fun of Dick Grayson when he was Nightwing, when he was Batman and wouldn't listen to his orders. He made fun of Tim Drake. Made fun of Jason Todd, and he's like, I never had to fucking die. But then later he died.
Surprise! Absolutely great. It opens up in a really awesome way because you get to see each of the Titans, and they stick very true, I think, to how they were in the cartoon. So the older one, Teen Titans.
Right. This is definitely aimed at that viewership.
Correct. So it sticks very true to them, but they're older. So you start out with Beast Boy, and he's going around drinking and trying to have sex with ladies and seeing them, like, half naked and...
But oddly enough, it's done lightheartedly somehow with sex and alcohol.
Right. Done very lightheartedly. And then you get to see, you see Raven in there and she's doing her Raven thing and you really start to feel for her right off the bat because it's, oh no, this is what she's dealing with. And you see Starfire running around being awesome, talking about Nightwing and making out with him in her, like, dreams, which they need to do more of that. Just make it happen. And then you have Kid Flash, who we're just seeing a little bit of in The Flash. Wally West from this new universe. Still kind of coming into his powers. Isn't a part of the Teen Titans in this, but Robin's like, fuck it, I'm going to grab him anyway, because, hey, why not? And then, of course, it ends, and I didn't put two and two together, because this whole thing's going around, and they're getting kidnapped, and then I'm like, oh, who's taking them? What's going on?
So spoilers right now?
Yes.
Spoiler
you've
alert.
Already spoiled the whole thing.
I didn't say who it was.
Yeah,
and I
you
didn't
did.
say what he did. I didn't say what he was doing. I just said he was an asshole.
But you said in the very beginning, the first 20 seconds of this podcast...
Well, this was warning enough. Go ahead.
You said in the first 20 seconds of this podcast that Robin was trying to run the Teen Titans. They're going to read it. They're not going to see any Robin till that very last page. And then he's like, so, you're wondering why I brought you all here together. And they're all, like, chained up and they can't use their powers without getting electrocuted. And he's just, like, chilling.
I'm like, fuck yes. He's acting like Batman. Like, he hasn't neutralized... Teen Titans in his hand, and just like Batman can neutralize the fucking Justice League.
It's awesome.
As I said on Twitter and Facebook, another name for Justice League is just Batman and his super sidekicks. That's all it is. And that's what we're going to have to come up with something for Damian. Damian and the Titans, or Damian and his Titans. Damian and his teens. He's not he's not a teenager yet, so...
Beast Boy's not a teenager, obviously. He's going around getting drunk.
That's true.
Starfire definitely isn't a teenager.
Oh, yeah. I mean... But they needed to put them on this team for that. People are asking, though, where's Cyborg? Yeah, he's in the Justice League. He's upgraded. Handling some real problems.
You know that new iOS 10 that came out for Apple? Yeah, Cyborg just jumped on that. Now he's in the Justice League.
Working with Batman. Yeah, I think this was a good Rebirth issue because it gave you a summary of what each of the Titans did, how they each... for example, Kid Flash, he can't really handle his powers yet. And we do like to do the comic book highlights for newer titles so that Broquettes know, like, okay, maybe this one is worth getting. And we are subscribed to Teen Titans, and I'm really looking forward to more, especially with Damian Wayne. We love Damian Wayne. He is our favorite Robin. So just to see him being Batman, basically, at a younger form of it, and then later on when Super Sons comes out with that new wave, and Jonathan Kent Jr., we're going to follow that. So it just goes to show you, Broquettes, follow your characters, follow your favorite creators.
Follow your heart. Follow your nose, wherever it goes.
And you will, you'll find books that you enjoy. Normally we don't read Teen Titans, but holy shit, Damian Wayne's in this fucking thing? Yeah, I'll fucking read it. And that's when we picked it up.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, I do have some great Starfire Nightwing fanfics if anybody needs them. They're awesome.
Maybe we'll read them someday.
One is called Masks. One is called Masks What If.
So that will do it for our podcast this week, Broquettes. Don't forget to follow us, and you can find the link to all of our social media accounts at thereasonsimbroke.com.
Do you have my Twitter handle on that website?
I do not. Not yet.
Why not? It's the best. You can go over to Twitter at Palpakelli, where you can talk to me at Palpakelli. I sometimes update, and I sometimes check my Twitter. But if more people talk to me, maybe I'd look at it more.
See, if we just mention it on the podcast, you only get listeners, true Broquettes.
True Broquettes.
The ones that actually listen to the show.
The ones that care about me.
So once again, that's at Palpakelli.
Like Emperor Palpatine, but Palpakelli.
And Kelly obviously with an I. I mean,
there's
no other way to spell it.
There's no other way. That's the only way. The people who spell it with a Y, they're lying.
They're all making mistakes.
Yeah, they
what
should
about
know
the
how
people
to
that
spell
got
their
named
name.
Kelly with a Y? What is that about?
Can I tell you, talking about spelling names wrong, I was at the birth certificate office once to get a birth certificate so we could go on a cruise, and there was a man in front of me who was, like, spelling his name to get a birth certificate, and the lady's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, that's how my name is spelled. Prints out his birth certificate, it's totally wrong. The man had no idea how to spell his own name.
Jesus Christ. Only in Florida.
Only in Florida.
No, that probably happens everywhere.
Probably. So anyway, yes, guys, reach out to us on social media, interact. Let us know what you liked this week from the podcast, what you didn't like. You liked everything, let's be real. Let us know what Batman should do next in the Choose Your Own Adventure. That's a big one.
Yes, definitely let us know. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
We'll see you next week.